Okay, here is the second part of the first chapter of Eternal Craving by Nina Bangs. You can't just show up here in Philly and expect me to welcome you with open arms. Why didn't you tell me you were coming? Kelly paced, 10 steps forward, swivel, then 10 steps back, to emphasize how really ticked she was at her sister. I'm just picturing her like stomping her feet. See, because people are mature when they fight with their siblings. Where's the consideration? Jenna widened her eyes in her best fake innocent expression. Ty's boss invited me. Finn? Outrage gave way to confusion. The same. Jenna figured Kelly didn't need to know that she'd called Finn first, or that the boss man hadn't specified when she should visit. Oh, Kelly bit her lip, a signal that she was trying to think of a reason why Jenna shouldn't stay. Jenna was good at reading body language. She was also good at getting her way. You should have at least given me some warning. I decided on the spur of the moment, and I tried to call you from the airport, but your cell was turned off. Jenna took a chance on that, but she was betting on Kelly's habit of forgetting to turn on her phone. Sorry to show up so late, but I couldn't get an earlier flight. Kelly looked suspicious, but she didn't comment. She glanced around the condo's huge living room. We don't have our own apartment yet. Finn is letting us bunk down here for a few days. The insinuation was that Jenna wouldn't have any place to stay. Jenna didn't intend to let a weak excuse like that get in the way of her finding out what was going on in her sister's life. Give me a break, sis. Hello, this is a penthouse suite. I bet Finn could fit an army of missionaries in here. Not that Jenna believed for a minute that Kelly's yummy husband was a missionary. But if he doesn't want me to stay here, I'll just get a hotel room. There, let Kelly wiggle out of that. Truly an airtight argument. Kelly glanced at Jenna's bags piled by the door and sighed. Sit down. Jenna recognized the expression in her sister's eyes. She wasn't buying into Jenna's spur-of-the-moment story. Instead of sitting, Jenna wandered over to the large window. The city lights glittered bright and cold. She shivered. Someone walking on her grave? She hoped not. Turning to face her sister, Jenna smiled. I'll stand. I sat too long in the plane. Besides, she thought better on her feet. Kelly nodded and collapsed onto the couch. She curled her bare feet up under her and tied her robe shut. So why are you really here? Jenna thought about lying. She was good at it. She'd had lots of practice on herself, but in the end she decided to tell the truth. Lying took energy, and she'd had a long day. So why all the rigmarole? Why Let's just abruptly change direction. Okay. I wanted to make sure you were okay. Kelly frowned. I'm fine. Why wouldn't I be? Jenna rolled her eyes up to the ceiling. Gee, let's see. You met a guy, married him a month later, and then raced out of town so fast you left skid marks in front of the church. Oh, and did I mention that none of his family or friends came to the wedding? Add to that your pitiful attempts to avoid my perfectly reasonable questions about your new husband, and, I don't know, I sort of felt the need to get to know Ty a little better. Cut the sarcasm, Jenna. Jenna turned to stare out the window again. Right, no more sarcasm. You brought Ty to meet us 3 days before your wedding. I'd like to visit for a week so that I can go back to Houston and report to Mom and Dad how deliriously happy you are. I think they deserve at least that much. I'd call that meddling. I'd call it caring. I'd call it understandable worry. The deep male voice spun Jenna away from the city's lights. I can't do deep male voices. They're all going to have the same voice, so that'll be fun. The man standing in the doorway took her breath away. Literally. No oxygen. Okay. Big, about 6'8", with a power... 6'8"? With a powerful body to go along with the height. But that's where his comparison to other men ended. Long silver hair fell past his shoulders. Not gray. Silver. The strands gleamed in the light. Where could you get that kind of color job? She wanted one. I kind of want one too, but I have a feeling you'd have to go to the same place the war boys go to. His eyes were silver too. They had their own kind of glow going on. The silver color should have made him look as though he didn't have irises at all, but she could see them clearly. As he drew closer, she realized his irises were outlined in black, and there was a touch of purple deep in the silver. Cool contacts. But it was his face that backed her up until she was pressed against the window. How could someone so beautiful be so terrifying? That's what I would like to know. Please enlighten. The journalist in her wanted to memorize details so she could get them right in her story, because anyone who looked like he did definitely had a hell of a story to tell, but the woman in her looked away. I'm not sure why those two are so different. Another thing I'd like clarification on. Jenna believed in women's intuition, and that intuition was yelling at her to run and not stop until she got to the airport. His soft chuckle raised goosebumps along her arms and down her back. And I try so hard to be non-threatening. Taking a deep breath, Jenna glanced at him. Yeah, well, you'll have to try harder. She glanced at her sister. Introductions? Kelly was looking beyond the silver-haired man. Jenna, Finn. Finn, my sister Jenna. Jenna forced a smile. The boss man. Glad to meet you. Glad to meet anyone, since Kelly had made a bunch of lame excuses to keep from introducing her family to the men who worked with Ty. You have no idea how happy I am to meet you. Finn managed to make the polite comment sound sinister. He reached for her hand. Jenna fought the urge to bolt from the condo as his hand engulfed hers, like an amoeba. She'd never thought you could physically feel a person's power, but power was the only word that came to mind as pressure built up around her, squeezing and squeezing and squeezing until she was gasping for breath. See? Amoeba. Just when she was certain her chest was about to cozy up to her backbone, he released her hand and stepped back. Thank God. She had no idea what had just happened, but she couldn't get away from Finn fast enough. She sidestepped past him, only to realize that 3 other men had entered the room with him. She recognized Ty. He broke from the group to join Kelly, so she was left staring at the 2 remaining men. They both looked big and dangerous like Ty, but that's where the similarity ended. One of them came forward to offer his hand. I'm Leo. This visit is a surprise. His cold, dark eyes said it wasn't a good surprise. She almost went limp with relief when his handshake didn't set off any seismic tremors. Leo's hard face and unfriendly expression canceled out any points Jenna gave him for really knowing how to dress. From shoes to jacket, Leo was designer labeled all the way, and his brown hair showed what a great stylist could do. If he expected her to feel guilty, he was doomed to disappointment. Okay. Yes, well, Kelly will tell you I'm the queen of impulse. She offered him a friendly grin just to annoy him before turning to the last man.